What is up, guys? Team Yugi Feels here with another deck profile, and we're going to be taking a look at Fluffals today. This is one of my favorite decks of all time as far as like fun decks go. I really enjoy playing this. It's just got a very fun and laid back play style where you can just basically OTK your opponent out of nowhere. Kind of gives you a good laugh. The artwork on it is obviously animals, so I mean, if you like dogs, if you like cats, and you think animals are awesome, it's even better. But I'm just gonna go through the deck. This is a more, for the most part, budget-friendly deck. When you add all the staples and other things in there, obviously the value increases, but overall, if you're looking for something to pick up a core of that's not overly expensive, this deck is pretty solid. Obviously, some of the support is a little more expensive because it's been getting more hype since they announced more support coming out in, I think, Rise of the Duelist or whatever it is that's coming out later in the summer. But I'm going to go ahead and hop into this and just show you guys the list that I've been toying around with and having some fun. So we have 3 Fluffal Dog. This is just like your Stratos of the deck. You just search for whatever Fluffal cards that you need, and helps you set up your combos. I opt to play 2 Bear and 2 Wing. A lot of people play, usually 3 of one and 2 of the other, or 3 of both. I don't think that's that great. I've found that it just causes a lot of clogging and bricking, so I've actually opted to cut it down to 2 and 2, and I think that 2 and 2 is working best, to be honest. Then I have 2 Fluffal Penguin. Fluffal Penguin is really neat because he gives you the ability to get more special summons from hand of your Fluffal monsters. In addition to that, when he's used as a fusion material, you get to draw 2 cards and discard some stuff, which is pretty nice too. Then I play 1 Owl, 1 Sheep, and 1 Cat. I think these are just good as one-ofs, especially Cat, because it helps you recycle your polymerizations, which is really useful. The Sheep is just kind of for link summoning. It just helps you kind of push through your plays, and the Owl helps you search or fusion summon, so definitely gets you some good materials. Then we have 3 Chain and 1 Saber. This is really all that you need. Saber is accessible through being searched with Patchwork, which we'll get to in the spell and trap section. So but the 3 Chain helps you search for your Frightfur cards, which is really useful. So this is a really good ratio in my opinion. Then for some hand traps, these can be very different depending on how you want to play it, but I'm testing out 3 Ash and 3 Valor. I'm finding that these are pretty solid overall. I have more hand traps in the side deck that I'll go over. They're all kind of interchangeable, however you want to slice it, but I like to do the Ash in the main deck at the minimum, and then like the Valor is what can be altered around, but I think that I like the ratio so far. Those are all the monsters though. Moving on to the spells. 3 Toy Vendor. This card's just really solid overall. You're able to discard stuff to grave and draw cards, and in addition to that, when it's sent to graveyard, you get to search for a Fluffal monster. Alongside that, to supplement it, I play 2 Foolish Burial Goods. You can dump the Toy Vendor from deck to grave, and you get the search effect. So basically, you're deck thinning for 2 cards, and you're breaking even, which can then force you to break even further than that and continue to progress into an OTK. Then we play our 3 Frightfur Patchwork. Patchwork is really, really solid. The card is absolutely nuts, being able to grab an edge imp as well as grab your polymerization at the same time. Definitely useful. Then I play 1 Frightfur Factory and 1 Frightfur Fusion. These are just really solid one-ofs. I don't think there are any other one-ofs that you currently have to play. These are just overall the good stuff. Then I play 3 Polymerization. I think 3 Poly is fully necessary in this deck, and to supplement it, I do play 1 Fusion Recycling Plant. This card's just overall really solid, and I didn't think it was before, but now after doing more testing, I've found that I really, really like this card, and it's just nice to be able to not only get a polymerization, but then at the end of the turn, you can get one of your resources back from grave, and typically speaking, that's really useful in this deck, but that's only if you can't kill them on that turn. And moving on to one of the best cards, Dark Ruler No More. you want to go second with this deck. Every single deck that you play against is going to combo off against you, and once they set up that big negate board, you need a way around it. Doesn't matter if you can't kill your opponent that turn. If you can make it so they don't have a follow-up because you've cleared their board, then you're doing something right. Adamantipator obviously has good ways to rebound, but it's still difficult for them to do so. So Dark Ruler is definitely a solid choice. If you don't want to play that, I would advise playing Cosmic Cyclones, which we'll get to in the side deck. And then just one upstart, because 39 cards is pretty solid. I think it's 39. I think it's 40, but if I remember correctly, it's 40 or 41. But I wanted to play the upstart Goblin regardless. Moving on to the extra deck, we have 3 Fright for Sabretooth cards. Just Monster Reborn for your other Fright for Fusion monsters, and he can kind of make himself kind of like a Felgrand, where he's unaffected. Just depending on how many materials you use to make him, which is really good. 2 Fright for Kraken. I think that 2 of this card is perfectly fine. You're able to send stuff, you can attack twice, you can bring it back with your Sabretooth and just pull off some crazy OTKs, which is really cool. 2 Fright for Sheep. This is my least favorite one. I was thinking about cutting it to 1, but I think that 2 does come up. Even though I'm not playing the instant fusion, I think that it's still worth playing 2 of. We have 1 Tiger and 1 Wolf. So Tiger will help you clear the board. He can pop cards up to the number of materials used, and then Wolf can attack up to the number of materials used. So overall, they just kind of give you more to work with, where you can OTK a lot more easily, or at least put some big damage on board. Those are all the fusion monsters. We're going to move on to the one Xyz monster that we play, which is the Abyss Dweller. You don't go into it often, but it's there as an option. And then moving on to the Link monsters. These can differ depending on how you want to play it. I'll kind of like give you guys some ideas as to what you can do. That way you can see how it's interchangeable post Eternity Code, as well as some changes that you could do right now depending on how you want to play it. So I play 1 Gravity Controller. It's pretty solid overall. I think that it's just something like, if you need to end on something because you can't OTK your opponent, then you can end on the Gravity Controller after putting up as much damage as you can, and it just kind of helps you in the long run. I play 1 Cross Sheep. This is probably the best card in the extra deck that's a Link monster. The card's just absolutely insane what it can do for you, and being able to generate so much more advantage. 1 Nightmare Phoenix. This is one of the cards that can be interchangeable. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between Phoenix and Appaloosa. If you're on more of a budget, then obviously stick with the Phoenix. If you want to put more into the deck, you can play the Appaloosa. I just didn't toss mine in here before the video, but I'm leaning towards playing the Appaloosa over the Phoenix, even though Phoenix does have some solid implications. Then I play 1 Nightmare Unicorn for more removal on the field, and then 1 Boral Sword. This can be interchanged with Access Code Talker, Post Eternity Code. I actually just ordered mine, so I should be getting it fairly soon, within the next week. That way all my deck profiles that I start to post will have that. I'm actually waiting off on posting some deck profiles until I get it, which is why you guys will see like a slight delay, and why I haven't been posting as many videos. In addition to that it's close enough to banlist season where I don't want to post a video and then have it be, you know, useless because a banlist comes up. But that's the extra deck. We'll now move on to the side. In the side deck we have 3 Nibiru. I kind of bounce back and forth between playing 3 Valor or 3 Nibiru, but I like having both, so usually one of them goes in the side deck. And I think Nibiru is one of those cards where it's really interchangeable in this deck, because you're able to pop even more cards if you have the Nibiru, which is crazy. So definitely consider playing 3 of that if you're not. 3 DD Crow. This is for like your Eldritch matchups. Being able to banish either Golden Lord or the spells and traps from your opponent's grave is just really solid, especially considering how much advantage they gain off of doing so. 3 System Down. It's cards for Orcust. It's not like the best deck around, but it's probably going to be pretty decent post Eternity Code, so playing System Down is probably a decent option. And I thought about playing Lancia, but my problem with Lancia is that like I have DD Crow already, and DD Crow can cut them off, so I'd rather just play something like System Down, which lets me play on my turn and not just theirs. So definitely System Down. Then the 3 Cyclone, which I referred to before, you can decide whether you want to main deck the Cyclones or main deck the Dark Rulers. Fully your choice. I'm just giving you guys a guide as to the cards that I like to have on hand for this deck. And then the last card is Triple Evenly Matched. This is kind of like the last cards that I play in here that I'm 50-50 on. The card's good, it's just whether or not like it comes up often. In Eldritch matchups, it'll come up more. But outside of that, the card's okay. It's just that you want to OTK more with this deck, so it makes it a little less desirable, but you can still work with it and make it pretty solid if need be. And if you have to beat a back row deck, it's just really good against any back row deck, so Evenly's definitely worth it. But that is the Fluffal deck profile, something I'm just toying around with, having a blast with it. Obviously there's no like actual tournaments for a while. I think Konami suspended it until like June 31st or something like that, due to the whole COVID stuff. So we will see how tournaments go in the future. I'm not doing any like online tournaments right now. I've opted not to, just because it's too much of a headache. If I stare at my computer screen that long, I just can't focus anymore. But I've been doing a lot of testing with my brother and with some close friends who have wanted to start playing again, since the game is looking a little bit more fun with the Master Rule updates. So I've been playing around, having some fun, and I hope you guys have too. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section down below. Let me know what you think, and if you have any cool text that you like to play in this deck, because I love playing this deck. But hope you guys enjoyed it, and this is Team Yugi Feels signing out.